Uh, Hello everyone. My name is Engineer Taiwo. This lecture we'll be looking at the second part of electrical installation. This lecture will cover some salient area that has not been discussed in the first lecture. So in this second lecture, we'll be looking at how to connect lighting circuit correctly, how to connect socket circuit correctly, and how to install electrical devices correctly. So these are what we want to achieve in this second lecture of electrical and electronics installation. Now, what is electrical installation? Be it in UK, in Nigeria, in Asia, in any part of the world, electrical installation is very, very essential, and it has to do with bringing together different electric car devices to ensure that power is being supplied from one unit to another unit. For instance, if you look at your house now, we have what we call the lighting point there. And what we are trying to do is that we want to ensure that at any point in time, there is sufficient illumination in that house. And not that alone, you might have some other electrical devices that you need to plug in so that you can know how, so that you can have access to the device. Therefore, to achieve that, what we need to do is also to ensure that there is a connection from one point to another point, and with that we have another circuit called the socket circuit. So in this lecture we'll be looking at different electrical installations and how to carry out those installations. Now, to carry out any electrical installation, there are some requirements that are fundamental. These requirements are sacrosanct, and we need to ensure that all these requirements are in place before any installation can be done. To start with, we have the cable and the art sleeving. We have the cable clips. Cable clips, this one comes into play when we are talking about the surface wiring and the or trunking. So this one has to do with the conduits. So capping if the cables are to be buried in the wall. And we also have some other accessories like the switches, the sockets, the light fittings, and so on and so forth. Then we talk about the tools. We have the screwdrivers, the snips, hammer, drill, the fixings, the socket or switch back boxes, and so on and so forth. These are some of the requirements that we need to ensure that there is electrical installation, and to ensure that this installation is done accurately and correctly. Not that alone, we also need to look at some of important aspect of this unit, which has to do with the guidelines. What are the guidelines? Number one guideline is for you to choose the correct size of cable for the job you are to do. We have different types of cable. We have 1.5 mm, we have 2.5 mm. Each of these you must choose for the installation you are doing. Am I doing installation of lighting points, or I am doing installation of the socket? So this installation we are doing will determine the choice of cable that we need to use when we are doing our electrical installation. Then we have the earthing. The earthing has to do with connecting all all the the green cable or the yellow cable to any to the heart, so that there won't be electrical shock. Then we also need to understand the rudimental knowledge, the fundamental skills that governs basic light installations, the one that governs basic socket installation, and the testing that should be done in each of these installation after the installation has been done. So these are some of the guidelines that we need whenever we want to carry out any electrical installation. And let's come to the aspect of choosing the correct cable. Now, the 16th edition of EE wiring regulation stipulates in details the correct cable sizes for specific installations, as well as their cable length. So we are going to look at a table that shows the accurate and the specification for different installations that we want to do whenever it comes to the aspect of choosing the correct cable for our installation. Now let's take a look at this cable table now. In this table, we have the situation cable to be used. Then we have the recommended cable size, the recommended fuse, or the breakers. Now let's start with the general lighting. For general lighting, you are to use either 1.0 mm or 1.5 mm, the twin plus arts, and the cable, the breaker to use for that is 5/6 amps. Then for general power ring circuit, we are to use 2.5 mm twin arts and 30/32 amps of cable. 30/32 amps breaker for that. Then for general power radial circuit, we have a 2.5 mm twin earth and the 15/16 breaker as well. So that is for those three. Now let's come to the cookers up to 40 amps. We have maximum load, and that is talking about cooker that's up to 40 amps maximum load. And concerning that, we have to use 6.0 mm twin earth cable with 30/40 amps breaker. And for showers up to 9 kilowatts, the recommended cable size is 6.0 mm twin earth, and we have the recommended breaker or the fuse to be 40 amps as well.